morning, this is Amber Paxton, and we are at The View at the fabulous Cooley Law School Stadium in this just beautiful venue on a beautiful sunny Lansing day. We are here to celebrate 5 years of municipal financial empowerment, and so we have our title sponsor, Fifth Third Bank, that helped us to put on this event today. And we are just celebrating 5 years of bringing financial capability services to our residents. And so it has just been a really great opportunity to enjoy celebrating with our partners, our clients, and our special guest, Jonathan Mintz, who is the founding president and CEO of the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund in New York City.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the celebration of 5 years of municipal financial empowerment in Lansing. I'm Courtney Sampson from Fifth Third Bank, and we are the proud sponsors of this morning's celebration. It is so wonderful to see so many financial empowerment supporters in the room. There we go. Awesome. I want to thank you all so much for being here today this morning. Fifth Third Bank, being a financial institution, has an obvious vested interest in the financial health of Lansing. In 1948, we became the first financial institution to establish a charitable foundation, and today we continue to invest the time, the resources, and the people to improve the lives of the communities that we serve. We see that supporting financial empowerment in the lives of the communities and their families is the #1 way that we can do this. We have been supporting the Office of Financial Empowerment since its beginning in 2013, from inviting them to join us during our e-bus events, to lending financial support to the Financial Empowerment Center in the early years, and as well as sponsoring travel expenses so the director of the OFE could participate in the Cities for Financial Empowerment convenings. And we're proud to stand next to Mayor Shore and his team in their efforts to build the economic stability in Lansing, one household at a time. They and their partners are making an impact in Lansing, and you're going to hear a lot about that today. And speaking of Mayor Shore, it's my pleasure to introduce him this morning. With just 6.5 months under his belt as mayor, he and his team have made it clear their commitment to financial empowerment, and I think I speak for everyone in this room when I thank him for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Andy Shore.
Thank you, Courtney. Wow, 6.5 months feels a little longer than that. Before I get into kind of my prepared comments, I want to have Amber come up. There you go. Amber, come up. She's got a small presentation to make.
Sorry, this was supposed to be at the end, but the person I want to present this to is needing to leave early, so we just bumped it up a little bit. So we are 5 years old, but the work that began this office started much more than 5 years ago. There were people who laid the foundation long before any of us were here. And for me, the person who had a tremendous impact on that is Antonia Kraus. Many of us know her as Amy. She is the real mama of this 5-year-old. And I'm sorry. She was the one who got us in front of the leadership in the city to pitch these ideas, and she's the one who truly laid the foundation that allowed us to be where we are today. And so, Amy, we just want to thank you before you sneak out.
You can't do this right.
We didn't mean to steal your fire, Mayor.
This is perfect. This is perfect.
Thank you for continuing this.
Of course. Thanks for getting it up and running. That was great. Things like this are just awesome to see. So, first, thank you to Fifth Third Bank for sponsoring the breakfast. It was excellent. I tried it as well, and well done. In Lansing, we see economic development. We see it at the macro level, where we look at how we attract and retain businesses and create new jobs. But we see it at the household level. Economic development begins at home. It begins at the kitchen table. I talked about this in my State of the City. We came in believing this, and I continue to believe this. We're not gonna leave people behind as we grow this city. We all grow together. So our Office of Financial Empowerment is dedicated to finding new and innovative ways to get those kitchen table conversations going. We envision a child coming home from school, and they're going to come home and be so excited to be in school, and they're going to share that Miss Cece from MSUFCU was in their classroom today to teach financial education for Lansing Save. And that Mr. Ben from OFE was there with Cece to give them a receipt for $5 toward their future education. And I say that as mayor, but I also say that as a parent of two of my kids being in the Lansing schools, and someone who not just got elected, but personally believes in the effort, is excited for everything going on in our schools, and believes that having this Lansing Save program and having OFE and MSU, FCU being part of that is a tremendous asset to all of our parents, to all of our kids, to show, how to save. I'm going off script here, so my apologies. But, my son is 14 years old. We opened a bank account for him. He has a little debit card that we have to co-sign, so don't worry. But it's so important to teach them financial education. And with the Lansing Save program, Lansing Schools, once again, is a leader. But we envision that when these kids come home, that the child's parents also respond that they have received financial education at the Financial Empowerment Center at Cristo Rey Community Center, where our staff shows them the ways to cut expenses so they can deposit more into their child's Lansing Save account, or help them fix an error in their credit report, or work towards purchasing their family's first home. Mayors also have to think about public safety. The OFE became the administrative agency for the Offender Success Program on October 1st in partnership with the Advent House Ministries, Housing Services of Mid-Michigan, Prevention and Training Services at Mid-Michigan Recovery Services. These partners work significantly to reduce crime through a seamless plan of services, supervision, and opportunities developed with each reentry citizen. Under the capable direction of Yolanda Botello and with funding from the Michigan Department of Corrections, we're making Lansing and our entire region a safer place to live, and that is a tremendously important piece, especially utilizing these wraparound services to help our residents. One of my first actions as mayor, when I got elected 6.5 months ago, but it feels a little longer, was to establish the new Department of Neighborhoods and Citizen Engagement. And when I campaigned, I talked about the importance of neighborhoods. We believe in economic development, we believe in schools, we believe in fixing the roads and all of that, but we also believe that neighborhoods and citizen engagement is a tremendously important piece of what this city does and how we work with our citizens. And when I did that, sometimes you create a department and then you look for a person. In this case, I found the person and created the department around her. I appointed Andy Crawford as the director, and I like to tell people, and she gets a little red in the face, we sat down after I got elected, and I wanted to ask her what she did at the city, and she basically interviewed me. She is doing a fantastic job, and I hear about it every day. And that department is a key piece of what we at the City of Lansing are doing now and look to do in the future. She was so interested and involved with financial empowerment, and that we decided we were going to take that agency and put it under her department. Because again, this is about our neighborhoods and our families. So when we view financial empowerment as the foundation of economic development, in terms of moving the needle on wealth and stability of our residents one house at a time, one block at a time, one neighbor at a time, everyone's lifted up. But why cities? Why make financial empowerment a public service rather than a social service? Well, I'm going to bring up a special guest at this time who's going to answer that question for you. I wanted to introduce him myself, but Big Lug really wanted to make the introduction. So the thing is, Big Lug doesn't talk, so I'm going to have to help him out. Jonathan Mintz and Big Lug, will you please join me at the podium? He doesn't know this is coming, so this is a special Lansing thing. So now I'm going to help out Big Lug. So I'm going to step over here.
That's hilarious.
Over here, come this way. That's right. I'll project.
Great to see you.
So, ready? All right. Hi, I'm Big Lug. I'm here to introduce my best friend, Jonathan Mintz. I first met Jonathan last spring when he visited Lansing for the Cities for Financial Empowerment Coalition convening. That's when I learned that Lansing is his favorite city. Mostly because of me and the lug nuts. Nice job. But a little bit because of all of the cool things that the Office of Financial Empowerment has done in the last 5 years. Jonathan was a commissioner for the Department of Community Affairs in the city of New York under the Bloomberg administration. That's where he helped create this really cool thing called Financial Empowerment Center, or FEC. We're almost there.
No, this is as long as you can go.
Now you keep going. Keep going. The Lansing
It's the
OFE.
best introduction I've ever had in my life.
The Lansing OFE and FEC started because Jonathan's foundation, the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund, gave the city of Lansing $1.5 million and a lot of help. A lot. After that, Jonathan and his New York friends helped us even more. They helped us create a Bank On program for reentry citizens to do a cost-benefit analysis of the FEC, which is on the tables here today, and invited us to join the CFE Coalition. So, without further ado, Big Lug gives you your keynote speaker, his best friend, Mr. Jonathan Mintz.
Thank you. Wow.
That's right. You're doing it right.
Wow. It's very emotional for me. I worked for a great mayor for 12 years, but I gotta say he never took second seat to a lug nut the way your mayor did. That's a lot of self-confidence, my friend. Wow. The other thing is, I don't know how many of you know this, but Big Lug and I have an on again, off again thing. So it's, we would appreciate your privacy and respect for our privacy. And, oh my God, I just need to sit down for a few minutes. It's the honor of my life. So, good morning. Thank you all for coming. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. This is an anniversary that means a lot to me and to my team. As was mentioned by the lug nut, the CFE Fund, which I lead, focuses on mayors and their teams and investing technical assistance and a fair amount of money in showing them the beginnings of how to start putting together financial empowerment programs and how to connect to other cities that are doing the same. Lansing is, I'm going off script, I'm following. Now, see, that's what happens, I'm so flustered. I'm just a huge fan of the work that's happening here in Lansing with Mayor Shore and his amazing team, Andy and my best friend, Amber. Not only have we been thrilled by this partnership now for over 5 years, but we have learned so much from what's been happening here across not just the Financial Empowerment Center program, but as you heard, really multiple programs and the ways that they're operating and flourishing and evolving and interacting. In truth, I brag about the work that you all are doing here in Lansing in every one of the speeches that I give around the country and any one of the talks that I have with other mayors. So I wanted to take a few minutes this morning to call out some of that top-notch work. And then as the mayor mentioned, I want to talk a little bit about putting that leadership, that mayoral leadership of these types of programs into some national context of a growing movement. So 5 years ago, I don't know how many of you know this, the CFE Fund first began working with Lansing to replicate this Financial Empowerment Center model. It's an initiative which doesn't just provide one-on-one, professional, incredible financial counseling. Velma and her team are unbelievable. It doesn't just offer this great service, it offers this great service as a free public service. And I think therein lies the key to its magic. The Financial Empowerment Center initiative started originally back in New York under my boss, Mayor Bloomberg. And it was so effective in New York that the CFE Fund and Bloomberg Philanthropies decided, well, let's try to replicate it. Let's see whether this idea of the highest impact, highest touch version of financial empowerment could be offered as a public service to everybody, not just in New York, but elsewhere. So we decided to fund a replication in 5 cities. We wanted to see whether places that didn't look like New York could do it and could do it even better. Lansing definitely fit the bill. So we had 48 cities that applied. This was this wasn't just raise your hand, Mayor, if you'd like some money. This was a really intensive relationship. And we had 48 cities apply. Lansing's enthusiasm and excitement and the partners that they pulled together jumped out of the pile for us, and we've been thrilled. So I have in my speech some numbers on how the FEC is doing, but I think maybe I'll let somebody else announce those. But let me just say that the numbers that you all are producing are incredible, and they're incredible not just because they're huge in terms of dollars in debt reduced for clients, credit scores improved, all of that, but because I think 2 reasons. One is these dollars represent very literal, meaningful change and improvement in families' lives. This isn't just education. This isn't just a one-off type of experience. Helping a family meaningfully reduce debt as just one of the metrics that Velma and her team work on really is about pulling people's lives together and helping them move forward. The second thing is that this is not a field that's always been known for having numbers. And so the idea that the work that's happening in the Lansing FEC, among other programs, is so professional that it is dripping in this kind of meaningful data is also, I think, key to why this kind of program deserves to be a public service and has survived and flourished. As I've come to learn is the Lansing way. The fact the FEC is just one piece of what's happening here across Lansing. You've heard about incredible investments, including the really huge political investment of creating an Office of Financial Empowerment. That's a real commitment on the part of the city to say this work is so important that we are structurally embedding it in the way we do business in helping our citizens, and the commitment that we're making. I also know, and I know both from reports and personally, how happily OFE has found itself in Andy's Department of Neighborhood and Citizen Engagement. It seems like it's just been an amazing fit. Lansing has also joined an elite group of cities that are launching the Children's Savings Programs. I'm sure you'll hear more about that in other events as well. Lansing Save, helping kids save for their futures and get financial education. And we all know education that's connected to something real, a lived experience, is obviously a much more effective form of communicating and educating. That's really exciting. Lansing has done some amazing work with the Returning Citizens Program. Banking access, financial empowerment, and thinking about the ways that financial empowerment is helping to further other important outcomes in those programs. In fact, we pretty regularly, you need to know, call upon Lansing, particularly Amber, to teach other cities how to do this work and how to think about it, how to structure it, how to build partnerships, how to use data appropriately. If I could have Amber on the road every week, helping other cities, I would, and I'm probably coming pretty close, so I apologize. But you guys are doing it really so well that you are at the top of the heap of expert cities that is helping us replicate. We're working now in 60 plus cities around the country, and Lansing is a cornerstone to showing cities not just that it can be done, but really how to do it. Also, just to underscore where Lansing is in the mix nationally, I do have to say that we started this coalition of kind of veteran cities that were not just doing 1 or 2 programs, but were really absorbing this work and making it part of their fabric. And I was a founding co-chair, and when I left city government, it wasn't really appropriate for me to do it anymore. I wasn't kicked out, I voluntarily. So we created the first new seat, and Lansing was elected by its peers to be the first co-chair of the city. So I just really want to put in context how extraordinary the Lansing work is in the national sphere. So as the mayor said, I want to talk for just another couple of minutes about why cities? Why does it matter that this is happening in city government? Why does it matter that financial counseling isn't just great financial counseling, but it's a public service? This is what we invested at the CFE fund, so I have a few thoughts. I point back to the 2008 recession. I think that's when government actually finally really absorbed more than a talking point, more than an advocate perspective in understanding that what's happening in individual family financial stability was so critical that it really was about the vitality of neighborhoods and communities, and in some cases cities. And so when 2008 hit, I think government realized, and I say this with all due respect, I think government finally realized that individual financial stability wasn't only a community organization thing. I think for years and years and years, the community organizations have known how important these issues are. They've been laboring out there, making sure that they can do everything they can do with the resources that they're able to raise. Mayors have historically patted them on the back at events and said, you guys are doing great work, we really appreciate it. But I think it was in 2008 that government realized, wait a minute, this is my problem. And I think that was a big moment. As families teeter in and out of financial stability, powerful forces draw the attention of mayors and their teams. Increasing demands on public resources, decreasing economic development in order to generate the resources that you need to meet that demand, and the real trifecta, I think, of public accountability, which is strong public pressure to work towards solving those problems and having efforts and solutions coming from government showing that whatever is happening economically, whatever development is happening in the city, whatever recovery is happening writ large, that what's happening in the communities, what's happening in people's homes, at people's kitchen tables, matters more than a talking point. Happily, local government is also uniquely suited, even though relatively new in this space, just over the last 10 years, I think local government is uniquely suited to bringing those solutions. And I think for 4 big reasons. First is scale. Government doesn't have the luxury of saying, I'm going to put together a great program, we are going to do amazing work with 30 people, and we're going to talk about how great it is, and we're going to have some great stories and all that. Government doesn't have that luxury. Government literally has the mandate to serve everybody. And the beauty of that mandate is that when you design these programs, from the beginning, you have to design them at scale. That's a new and powerful force in this kind of work. Second is quality. As the mayor will tell you, the reason I'm sure that 6.5 months feels like 3 years is that local government is accountable for success. If you get it wrong, you're going to hear about it. If quality isn't what it needs to be, you're going to hear about it. And that kind of accountability, walking Wednesdays and in the press and in the streets, that kind of accountability is a wonderful force, usually, because it means that you have to get it right. It means that you have to really think through something that honestly the financial empowerment in the asset building field was kind of able to not pay that much attention to, which were standards of oversight and quality control and measuring impact. When government is responsible for getting it right, then government works towards getting it right. You manage what you measure, right? Third is power. Mayors and their teams and the department heads, they hold the literal ability to create policies and procedures and procurement contracts that connect and integrate financial empowerment into social services, the social services that are already touch points for the people that you're trying to help. Cities can and are mandating direct deposit into public workforce programs, or financial counseling into returning citizen programs, or domestic violence services, for foreclosure prevention services. Fourth, particularly having served, as I say, for 12 years in city government, I would add politics. I think as an important force. I think that mayors and their senior staff are in a great position to leverage and convene the right stakeholders to come together to solve these problems. The ability to pull together financial institutions, local business leaders, community organizations, advocates, as you can see in the room. Financial empowerment politics transcends party politics. It's about strengthening communities while empowering people to improve their financial stability and get ahead. And I think that those political forces are a wonderful and unique tool that mayors are using in order to advance these efforts. I've seen this work galvanize city voices. Steeped in the experience of FEC clients, for example, cities are well aware of what's happening in neighborhoods, where to identify trouble spots, how to quantify debt levels, but also how to point to successful strategies. And I think that sometimes, let me tell you a quick story, really quick story. In Albany, there was a move to bust open our state usury cap, and the tidal forces that were pushing payday lending and all the rest were talking about like how much people needed, where else are they going to get a loan, and yeah, of course the interest rates have to be 9,000%. And our ability as a city drenched in data and experience and success, our ability in New York to step forward in Albany and say, actually, let me tell you about the debt that people already have. That's the problem. And let me tell you, if you really want to solve it, we can show you how to solve it. It's through FEC. And so that kind of effort, that kind of experience, that kind of ownership of these issues and these problems and these solutions is a very galvanizing political force. I think you'll find that it's very useful. I want to make one last observation about why I think that this work has been resonating so quickly and strongly over just 10 years nationally and 5 years here in Lansing, which is a growing consensus about professionalizing this field. As I mentioned briefly, 10 years ago, this field was really, the norm of addressing financial instability was literacy-based. It was focused on teaching people, but not necessarily literally helping people. I always say, when you're sick, you need a doctor, you don't need a website. And I think that in those days, these measures were accordingly measured by things that government sector and the profit sector could be polite about, but honestly didn't take very seriously. You measure things like how many people sit down in a class, how many people visit a website, how people feel after they had a class. Those things are great, but they're not going to get public investments. They're not going to draw big corporate investments in replication. But as the field grows, as it attracts public funding, not just philanthropic support, I really think that the turning point has been this professionalization. I think that's where the money comes, that's where the political investment comes. Because in a nutshell, if financial empowerment is going to attract ongoing public support, then it really has to be that good. There has to be real training, real performance metrics, real quality control, and quantifiable, meaningful success. And these are the factors that I think contribute to professionalism and contribute to why you are where you are here in Lansing. So I'm going to stop now because Big Leg and I have plans. I can't congratulate you enough, and I want to thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for making this, from our perspective, an incredible partnership, and I know from Lansing's perspective, just an amazing success. So thank you very much.
I'm so proud of us for pulling one over on him, by the way. I'm just so thrilled that Jonathan was able to fly in and take the time to be here in Lansing. The first time I ever met Jonathan, I couldn't speak because I was so nervous, and anyone who knows me knows nothing shuts me up. So I was like, you're Jonathan Mintz. And now we're besties, so it's great. So what's going to happen next is first, did you already shut the door? You did. Man, she is good. So the first thing, I want to make a quick announcement that the food will be out after the event, but do not feel shy about going to get some more if you like. And the next thing up is that we're going to just hear from some people who've been impacted by the OFE. And so while we're doing that, again, feel free to get more food or feel free to stay after all the speaking is done and have more food then. And we won't get kicked out of here until 10. So the first person I'd like to introduce is Ruben Cañada. And so we'll bring him up and let him share his story with you.
Good morning, and I appreciated the invitation of being here and in fact being impacted by the LPC. I guess I would probably be like the perfect example of a person that really needed some guidance in all aspects of life. However, FEC was one of the main part of it because even if a person acquires money, it's very difficult to keep it, let alone, how you would manage it and spend it. So to reintroduce myself, my name is Ruben Kenyatta, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran from the Vietnam era that, of course, left me lugging with a lot of unwanted baggage and, of course, a lot of unwanted outcomes from that baggage. Now, previously having a serious problem with adjustments to a productive life, I had a lot of intervention and a lot of self-help programs. Though some of those programs, of course, was less than heartwarming, I can say that I did learn a few things from it all. And one of the things is that I did learn is that social programs are only effective as the of the people who operate them.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
excuse me.
I just want to make sure they can hear you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Right, no, it's good. I sometimes talk a little, and of course I'm nervous as well. Though I cannot speak for everyone that's probably participated in this program, however, from my own experience with FEC, it has been proven to be one of those programs where effective staff has brought effective results in helping me to overcome limitations of my past in managing my financial affairs as well as managing my social life. Since my first contact to this program a few years back as a homeless veteran, I'm honored to say today, with much appreciation from my coach Sonia and the leadership of Amory, my credit score has went from 0 to 756 as I and it went from there as I now eagerly seek to purchase my own home. So for that, I'm really honored and appreciate you all for your help. Thank you. So that's all from me. I don't know.
Put something in my eye all day. The next person we'd like to welcome up here is Angela Castaneda.
Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. I've never done public speaking, but when I was asked to do this, I was so honored because I am so thankful to this program. When I came in, I just became a single mother. I was working multiple jobs, and then I crashed my vehicle. And I did not know what I was gonna do. I was living paycheck to paycheck. And a friend of mine told me about the Financial Empowerment Center. I had heard about it, and I knew I needed to do something. It's a free program. Didn't take that much of my time. Why not? I had nothing left to do. I'm just so thankful. There's nothing that this program hasn't done for me. It's benefited every aspect of my life. I was actually able to finance my own car for the first time at 26 years old, which was huge for me. I've never been able to do that. So once that got started, I was able to get to work a lot easier. I was able to get places that I needed to for my daughter a lot easier. These classes as well, I mean, I had mounds and mounds of debt. I am now debt-free. And it feels good to know that I'm not going to go back to that because I've learned all the necessary steps to take. And just being aware of what gets you in those positions in life. After that, I was able to raise my credit score enough that I was able to purchase my own home for the first time by myself. I recommend this to everybody because it's helped me. It's helped me so much. I go, if you're really serious about your life, you're going to take the 40 minutes to do this. There's just no other option. And it hit me last week how much this program really, like I said, it's every aspect of your life. Because I purchased my home, and then everything broke, everything. And my dad, I asked my dad, and he's like, well, I guess you're just gonna have to tough it out till payday. And I said, no, I don't have to tough it out till payday. This is the first time in my life. At 26 years old, I got my first credit card. I go, you know what? If I wanted to, I could do this. I go, but you know what? They also taught me how to save. I have a budget just for things to go wrong in my house. And it was great to know that I had options. I did not have to struggle until I found a way to make it happen. I have options now for the first time in life. And it's great. And like I said, I recommend them to everybody. I recently got into a relationship and you started joking around, you had bad credit. And I go, oh, that's no joke. I'm going to set you up with an appointment. Because again, it plays into every aspect of your life, whether you're aware of it or not. And I'm just so thankful to everybody that taught me these skills and took the time out of their day to help me with this, and every one of you that's contributed to this program. So for me and for my daughter, thank you.
Okay, so those were some FEC testimonials. We also have a little program called Lansing Save in partnership with the Lansing School District and MSUFCU, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. We have a kindergarten college savings account. They're opened for every Lansing School District student, and they're seated by the credit union with the first $5. And so Ms. Latasha Potts and her daughter, who is the Save account holder, who doesn't want to talk, I already know that, but might want to stand up here with me.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As she said, I'm Latasha Potts, and this is my daughter, Victoria. As a parent and a Lansing employee, I am very proud of the and thankful for the Lansing Save program. She has been in the program since she was a kindergartner. She didn't understand that she was a kindergartner, but to her, she was just graduated from her 3rd grade. As she got older, she very well understood it. So we went from putting a couple of dollars to her 3rd grade year, her last 2 years. I think she ran to my office every time, brawling, $5, $10? Then I think sometimes she would send her friends for a couple of dollars. So yeah, they will come to my office as well. So now she's good at saving. She is very grateful for the Lansing Save program. And like I said, she was always in my office asking, I think I'm in debt with her right now, do I owe you money? So yes, she loves it, and I am very grateful, and I am also grateful for the Lansing Promise program as well. My daughter, who was, this will be her 3rd year at Olivet, she received the Lansing Promise Scholarship, so I am very grateful. She just got actually endured Richmond Scholarship at the Lansing Country Club in May. So I am very, very thankful for the Lansing Promise and the Lansing Save.
So this will be the last testimonial from us, and then we just have a few thank yous. This testimonial is unique. So in our office, we have a very interesting environment. We have spent days where we go to a prison in the morning and a kindergarten classroom in the afternoon. And it's what we love about our work, because this work permeates everywhere. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the Offender Success Program, or rather let our partners do so. First, I'm going to see if I can play a little sound clip for you all. I practiced this earlier, I really did. Here it is.
I didn't expect to ever be able to meet anybody in my life that would just willingly help me, you know, and take their time, and they pushed and pushed and pushed. And not only did they help with my friend at the core stuff, but they actually helped with stuff that was on my credit that I didn't know that was there, that they found out that was there. They were calling me to have me come meet with them and sit down with them and go over everything that I didn't know anything about. They did the homework, and I didn't have to.
All right, with that, I will ask Doug Clark, Ingham Parole Supervisor, and any of his friends who wish to join him.
Thank you. As Amber stated, I'm Doug Clark with the Ingham County Parole Office. We had the privilege of meeting Amber and her wonderful team 5 years ago. And we were holding an event at the parole office where we essentially, at that point in time, we still do, bring community resources to the table for those returning citizens that are coming from prison back to the city of Lansing. And in meeting Amber and her team, we essentially just engaged in a simple conversation of the financial barriers offenders face when they come back into the city, community, neighborhoods. And through the conversation, we quickly realized that they are a driver to many of the pitfalls they face as they move on in life. And Amber, with a vision and a passion, she wanted to do something. And we were faced with, I think the tipping point for us was, no matter what we do, you look at 90% of those that are sent to prison from our community, our neighborhoods, our city, no matter what we do, are coming back. So we were faced with, we can do nothing, status quo, have a conversation, thank her for her time, or be proactive and do something to tackle these barriers. And Amber was passionate and a visionary, and she wasn't going to let it go, and we jumped in, all in on this project. And throughout the 5 years, the partnership has grown and flourished. We have rapid services around offenders to the point of financial counseling, one-on-one. We have one-on-one appointments at the office, and workshops, various workshops to repair credit, to educate them on financial principles. And throughout the years, the partnership has even grown to the point of reaching new audiences. Kelly, can you raise your hand? She's with our Ingham County Probation Department. We've reached out to their population to tackle front of the court issues and the financial issues that come with arrearages. So I can sit here today and tell you that through the 5 years, through this partnership and the way it's flourished and grown, without a doubt, returning citizens that are coming back to this city, to our community, our neighborhoods, now have a platform, thanks to Amber and her team, and the teamwork, Melanie, most of the credit goes to you on the ground, for long-term offender success. And to go along with that, come safer communities, fewer victims. And that's what we're shooting for. So I can't thank everyone here in this room enough, because whether you know it or not, your support made it happen. And all the hard work from Velma, Amber, and your team also made it happen. So we're continuing our partnership. Here's to 5 more years. This is a common sense solution, I think, and it's amazing what happens when you get the right people around the table that are solution oriented, how fast and how committed people can be to go towards one goal. And everyone here, I appreciate your work and your effort, and I am intrigued and excited on new adventures ahead. So thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us for our 5th birthday party. So this 5-year-old baby had a lot of parents. Everyone in the room, we have reason to thank in some way, right? So as I'm looking around the room today, I'm thinking about, when I called Flagstar Bank and said, can we please have a little bit of money? Or when we launched a bank-on partnership with Reentry Citizens, and we asked Norma, will you hang out at the parole office with us twice a month for the rest of your life? Pretty much. And what's wonderful about the people in this room is that they never say no. And the other folks who never say no is our staff. And this day is not about me. My name got brought up a lot. This day is not about me. I didn't do this. I had people in front of me opening the doors, and the people behind me doing all of the work. And a lot of times we get to stand up and we get to take credit for that. But today I really want to bring the staff up here. They're going to punch me for this, but I want you all to come up here and stand and be recognized for the work you do. Don't make that face at me. Brittany? Where's Brittany? There are people who aren't up here yet, and I will wait. Jamie, where is Brittany? I sure will. I'll do it every time. How'd we lose Brittany? Okay. This team works harder than any people I have ever met in my life, and I just want to take a moment to recognize that sometimes this is exhausting work. You go home worried about your client. The client leaves the room and you cry because you can't do it while they're there. There was a day that I spent on the other side of a cubicle wall from Sonia. She had 5 clients in a row. They were all crying. That's hard work, and it's hard to keep doing day after day after day for 5 years. I love this team. They're amazing. I will let Andy say whatever she would like to say, but I just want to say these folks they do all the work. They get it done. also our partners. Every partner we have, and there are so many of them, do so much to help us, whether it's sending us clients, having safe and affordable bank products that we can recommend to people, giving us advice when we call you and say, we don't know the answer and we promise this client we would figure it out, helping us financially, helping us in every way, connecting your programs to ours. We are just so grateful. Thank you for helping us turn 5.
And I'm Andy Crawford. I'm the Director of Neighborhoods and Citizen Engagement here at the City of Lansing. The mayor talked about the formulation of this department, and when it was like picking a kickball team, back in old school gym class when we did that. And so it was easy for me to say, give me all of them, I'll take them, and all the work they're doing. As you heard this idea of how our households can perform and manage their own finances in its cumulative effect is so critically important to the success of our city, our region, our state. And so the ability to, what I love about all the work that this group does is that we do have, this very high touch, ongoing relationship that is case management oriented, outcomes focused, and we also simultaneously have systems work going on. So we're thinking about not only how do we help that individual offender succeed, but how do we build a system that keeps perhaps that cumulative effect problem from happening in the first place. So I've watched Amber bring a lot of different groups together and say, you guys don't know each other, but we're going to sit around and figure out this system issue together. And then we put it away. We go, okay, we button that up. So that's done. It's got legs. Let's move on to our next identifiable system issue, in addition to doing the continual one-on-one work. And so we're going to always focus in that way about how we're building as a community a system for success. You heard about Lansing Save, its integration to Lansing Promise, its work within the school district, how that fits into our city's objectives. We are building a community of folks who are thinking about how do our children, our families, get caught up in a stream that inevitably leads towards success. Because we know that there's another stream flowing, and we just gotta change streams, right? We want the momentum of our community to carry our children to successful outcomes. And when we get in rooms together and bring our collective resources to do that, we will see that. And that's, as Justin loves to say in his meetings about Lansing Promise, it's generational work. And so I hope generations from now, people are looking back to the birth of the FEC, to this administration, and to all kinds of different things that have been planted that changed people's lives half a century and a century from now. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for all the work you do to be a part of creating that momentum and that stream that will carry us forward to success. So happy birthday. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here. Thank you all for investing in work that has outcomes and results. And we want to continue to deliver that for you as our investors. So have a beautiful summer day in Lansing. Lansing time is now, right? No one said it yet, so someone had to say it. Thank you, everybody, and congratulations.
My name is Zach Edson. I love working with this office for so many reasons, but the first one that comes to mind is really all the great people we work with. We have an awesome team. Everyone works together, helps each other out, and everyone's so passionate about what we're doing. And second, the clients that we get to work with are amazing. It's always great to get out of the office and work with them, one-on-one, and really hear their stories and see what they're going through and try to help however we can.
I work in the Office of Financial Empowerment. I'm an intern. I just started back in January, and I just really love making an impact in the city, whether small or big. It's every little difference a person can make is just improvement for the city, making a difference in people's lives, and just anything you can do to just help the city grow and help families in any way that you can just is a major a major thing for me, and then just rewarding for myself and just rewarding for the city.
I'm Yolanda Botello. I'm the community coordinator for the Offender Success Program through the Office of Financial Empowerment. We provide wraparound services to reentry citizens to produce safer communities. We provide assistance in the areas of housing and employment and health and behavioral services. And I enjoy working for the Office of Financial Empowerment because of the services that it does provide to the community and the outcomes that we see in our community and neighborhoods.